What is up, YouTube? This is JR Juggernaut 1, and today I'm going to be presenting you with a deck profile of the deck I ran at Regionals yesterday in Stratford, Connecticut. This was a deck I've been preparing for about a month now. I really like it. Probably going to run it next month at Edison, but it's going to need a lot of tweaking most likely. Basically, yeah, when I got back to school a few weeks ago after Thanksgiving, I didn't have any time to make vids. I got so thrown into my finals work and such, so yeah, I just didn't make any. But I'm back. I'm going to start having some videos up, probably regarding the, whatchamacallit, I'm probably going to have like a weekly meta discussion up once a week, as well as a weekly like discussion just relating to some random topic of Yu-Gi-Oh, kind of like the VCT RFS rants. So yep, you'll see more of those as time goes on. Okay, now on to the regional. Now, I ended up going 5-3 at this regional. I lost rounds 4, 6, and 8. I was really close to getting my invite once again. I wasn't too upset about it, though, because I already had my invite, but it still would have felt really good, considering that I really want to improve as a player. I really want to get better, and I want to feel like I'm making a lot more progress, and it's like I want to understand why I can't seem to do better than X3 at a regional. But you know what? It happens. I still had a lot of fun, though, and I still felt like I got a lot of good experience at this regional regardless. My friend Alex, he ended up making top 8 with Dark Worlds. Big ups to him. The other people I want to give big shout-outs to are Joe Bogli, who I ended up playing in round 4. Very nice guy. He actually added me on Facebook earlier today, which I was very surprised about because I wasn't sure if he would even remember who I was. But yeah, really cool guy. The other two people, oh yeah, the Nest21 and Matt Incognito I talked to for quite a bit. Both very nice guys. The Nest21, he ended up making top 8 as well with Rabbit. Matt Incognito, I believe, went X2, but I could be wrong, and I think he was playing Plants. But you can probably check their channels up if they decide to make videos regarding what happened. Anyway, I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get on to the deck. So, this is Tech Genius Agents. We have 3 Earth, 3 Venus, 3 Shineball, 3 Hyperion, 1 Veiler, 2 Herald of Orange Light, 1 Gorz and 2 Tragodia, 2 Striker and 3 Warwolf. These are my 2 proxies because I ran Maxies at the event, but I borrowed them from my friend Alex, so I don't have any right now. And then Jupiter, Honest, Sengen, Birdman, and of course BLS. For the spells, we have 2 Pot of Duality, 2 Creature Swap, 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, Monster Reborn, Dark Hull, Heavy Storm, Mind Control. And for the traps, we have 1 trap, Dust Shoot. I honestly agree with running little to no traps. I just can't make any room for traps, and I prefer the deck the way it is. I never felt like I was put in a lockdown position I couldn't get out of. So yeah, I'm fine with just Dust Shoot in the main board as my only trap. Just to talk about quickly a few things about the deck. The hand traps, I decided to run 2 Herald and a Veiler because I like Veiler in certain situations, but Herald of Orange Light is, in my opinion, much better overall, at least right now, because there's a lot of things it stops. Like, it stops Rescue Rabbit, and that can be very crucial in a lot of games, so I'm very much, I'm very fond of that. Also, it can stop Gorz, which is really helpful, you know, stuff like that. One of the reasons I also only ran the Dust Shoot was because I wanted to make these cards more live, and the Chagodias put in so much work, same with Gorz. They were really good, so I definitely am glad I had them. The Maxies were nice draw power. They give the deck what I want, which is consistency, but I wouldn't run 3 because I think the card would clump way too much, especially since there were a bunch of decks I ended up playing where I didn't find it to be all that useful. So I think 2 is just a better number because it sucks to have 3 in your deck and you know they're gonna give you little to no use. So yeah. Some people don't like Jupiter. I like it. It's actually pretty good. I'd probably keep it in the deck just because it gets over certain things, and I really like that about it. I think the only thing here I would probably consider taking out is a Birdman, because I did not get to use it at all. Like, I drew it, but I never got to use it like to its utmost, you know, potential. Like, none of the plays that I made. I never drew it when I had a Warwolf or when I had a Venus, so it just didn't work out to my advantage in that case. And in terms of TGs, I might also cut a Warwolf, but I'm kind of thinking about that. The triple Warwolf is cool, but it doesn't do all that much unless, like, the Warwolf, the TGs work well when you draw other cards with it. Drawing them by themselves is kind of just meh. So I could honestly see myself just running 2 of each instead of running 2 and 3. For the spells, Duality was amazing. In this deck, you can really get away with playing it and then making some big plays in the same turn, because you could Duality into Gores or Trag, or you could Duality into a TG and set it. You could Duality into Earth. You have many different plays, but also you could Duality and Creature Swap. And this card won me games. It was really good. It just put in so much work during the day. I had a lot of game-winning, a lot of game wins from it. I think the best part of it was, in a way, was that the two of my losses, in two of the matches that I lost, all 3 of my matches I lost 2-1 as opposed to 2-0, and in 2 of those matches, I want to say the better of the 2, the ones I more rightfully lost, the games that I won because of Creature Swap. Bottom line. 2 MST I found was better than 3. Straightforward. Yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say about the deck. I think I might add a 3rd Duality just because the added consistency is amazing, and there's a lot, because of all the different plays you can make that don't require special summoning, I think it's worth trying to throw in a 3rd. For the side deck, we had 2 these were Gemini Imps at the event, but I definitely would not play Gemini Imps again. Not just because I didn't play any Dark Worlds, but there were just so many matchups where I wanted Kaiku to be in my side deck as opposed to Gemini Imps, and as a result, it just makes sense to play it instead. 2 Cyber Dragons for Karakuris and just other random decks that I might find it to be good against. 2 Thunder Kings, best card of the side deck, or at least one of them. I sided in a lot. I didn't get any huge use out of it, but when you can just draw into a 1900 beat stick that you know is going to put in work, whether it's, and doesn't require you to have other cards in hand to be useful, yeah, it's very good. The 3rd MST, 2 Smashing Grounds, very good card. I sided in a few times. Sided in against Rabbit was really helpful. It gets a lot of use, really, when you side it in correctly. And then for the traps, I had 2 Debunks. Mirror Force, this was just a random... I needed to make room for one more space in my side deck. My friend Alex suggested Mirror Force. I sided in like once or twice. I never actually drew it, but I think it would have worked if my theory about it was correct. So, yeah, I think it was good that I used it. And then 3 Royal Decree, this card, best trap that I used all weekend. Because Dust Shoot, I only drew like once. Decree, I drew like only like 3 times. But each time I drew it, I won the game because it just locked down my opponent, and they just sided out. They either sided out their MSTs, or they just never drew a way of dealing with it. So that was awesome. Definitely going to keep this at 3, because when you side this in, you really want to draw it, so it only makes sense to play 3. It's just great. Oh, and for shits and giggles, I have 3, but of all different rarities. If you'll notice, I have the Hobby League, Super Rare, Common. Finally, we move on to the extra deck. We have Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, Gachi Gachi Gentetsu, Leviair, Leviathan Dragon, Utopia, Armory Arm, TG Wonder Magician, Allied Just Cataster, Brionic, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Gaia, Knight, Thing, whatever. Ancient Fairy Dragon, this should be an Ancient Sacred Wyvern. I never got this out, and I don't think it's worth having in just for 2 matchups, being GK and Dark World. I mean, Wyvern I don't think is that much better, but I feel like it just would have served me more use. Black Rose Dragon, Stardust, Scrap, Trish. That's pretty much it with the deck. Just to go over matchups quickly. Round 1, I ended up facing random 56 card burn / stall deck. I won. That's all you really need to know. Round 2, I faced a cool yet subpar version of plants, Tengu plants. It didn't run tour guides, but I appreciated the guy's attempt to be creative. I just don't think it was so effective for as effective as tour guide plants. What was the other thing? Round 3, I played against regular tour guide plants. I lost game 1 and I thought I was screwed, but then games 2 and 3 I was able to win game 2 mainly because I was able to stall out enough, and I eventually got out a Scrap Dragon to deal with his Spirit Reapers, and then game 3 of that match, I ended up winning through just kind of having more cards than him. I basically waited for an opening to bring out Hyperion and then kill him, and that's what I did, because I forced him to use his last back row Solemn Warning on my Earth, and he just didn't see the Hyperion coming, and yep, boom for game. What was it? What was the other thing? Oh, round 4, yeah, I faced Joe Bogli. Nice guy. Game 1 was the only game I won, and that was because he had BLS and Gores out. He was at 200 life points. I had Heavy Storm and Creature Swap. He had 1 back row. All I needed was to draw a monster, and I won, and I drew Mystical Shine Ball. So that was good stuff. Round 5, I ended up facing TG plants, though my opponent did not draw any of his plants until... Actually, no, he didn't draw any plants, period. But I didn't realize, like, the real TG focus of the deck. I kind of was ignoring... I didn't realize how back row heavy the deck was in terms of, like, TGs and such until game 2. And at that point, I regretted not siding in my TG hate. So game 3, I sided it in, and I drew my Royal Decree, and that just locked him down very early on. So I was very happy to win that match. Round 6, I had to play against Evan Petra, who topped YCS Columbus with, I believe, agents, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was actually plants. Either way, he was playing plants, and I got a game loss for right before we started because we got deck checked, and I stupidly left a card in my deck box, totally forgetting about it. It was a Twister that I was originally going to have in my side deck, but I took it out, forgetting to put it back in my binder. It was a dumb mistake. I deserved the game loss. I won game 2 very luckily, only because I drew Tragodia. I drew Tragodia after I already had Gores in hand. If he didn't have the Solemn Warning face down, it wouldn't have mattered. But because he warning my Tragodia and didn't think I had Gores as well, it kind of ended up screwing him over because next turn he had BLS, but I had Creature Swap in hand, so I was able to deal with it. Because he had that and Catastor, so whichever monster he gave me, I could easily run over it, since all I had to do was drop another monster. Round 7, I had to play against a random Chaos Piper deck. Pretty good deck, but I mean, I just was able to beat him down very quickly both games. I think round 8, I played against pure TG Stun. Game 1, I got destroyed because I just couldn't do much. Game 2, I locked him down with Royal Decree and a 3,000 attack Tragodia. There was really nothing he could do at that point. And then game 3, he started off with a set monster and 4 back row. If I'd gone first, the game would have gone way differently. But instead, I ended up just going... I tried to summon Earth. He had the warning. I would have played with a Heavy Storm in my hand, but the Starlight Road was so obvious, it's not even funny. And he did actually have it because I tried to see... because I played Heavy Storm later on just to make sure... because it was pretty much like all or nothing. I don't have a choice. And yeah, he had it. So yeah, very frustrating at that point, but things happen. Again, please check out the Nest 21 and Mad Incognito. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I will keep you guys updated on the build as Edison gets closer by, or I might not. We'll see. There will be if you keep up with my videos, you'll see. And I'm out of here, so peace out, guys.